again everyone. So first off, you might notice my videos have slipped to be every other week. I'm just very tired. So tired. And I'll be covering that in another video because it does kind of link into my cosplay and I'm going to explain a bit. But anyway, today we're going to cover another tutorial for how to do weathering on solid props and armour pieces. Now I've got a piece of Sintra plastic here. This technique will also work on foam, resin, pretty much anything solid. I would possibly steer clear if your solid prop could be harmed by water, such as cardboard or unsealed cardboard. You need to seal those really well first because we will be using a damp cloth later. Now all I've done with it so far, we're going for a similar effect last time where you have silver chip away, shows silver at the edge, and some darkening. So all I've done is covered it with a grey primer. Grey or black primers look particularly nice under silver, and a silver coat on top. Now I'm trying to use the same type of paint here because you can get a bit of bubbling or reaction if you use different paints, but I'm going to have to use a different type for the colour itself. But for the primer and the base coats I like to get them the same colour. Now that we've got our base silver, we're going to need to start masking it, so switch to close-up. Okay, so unlike in the dry brushing tutorial where we got our colour sorted and then did the silver on the edges, we're doing this the other way round. We've got silver on there already, and we're going to make it so when we spray on the next colour of paint, we can peel away and show some silver. For that we're going to need a masking fluid. Now you might be able to find a proper artist's masking fluid, or some people use liquid latex as long as it's on something that it can peel off of. I'm going for the very cheap and cheerful route and using toothpaste. Rather importantly, I'm using kind of white normal toothpaste. It's the kind of feel that's slightly gritty rather than like the gel toothpastes. These ones seem to react less. Now the idea of a masking fluid is that anywhere you place it, the top coat of paint won't cover. It'll be protected by this. So we want to get some of this around on the edges and in any areas of damage, like so. Now I'm using a skanky old paintbrush again for doing this. You don't want to just blob it on because then you'll have a kind of round blobby area of damage. I'll leave that there so we can show you what it's like, but you very much want to make sure you're scraping it and keep it a bit varied, so don't keep it always just a couple of millimetres from the edge. Have some bits where it comes further out and then comes back in, and try to keep it a bit jagged. And the thickness doesn't matter too much, as long as there's some there it should do the trick, but make sure you've got enough that you've definitely got the coverage you're after. And this does smell very minty, so be prepared to have your nostrils assailed by mint, but other than that this is a nice safe one to use. You can apply it with your fingers if you want, but I don't like getting toothpaste all over myself, honestly. Now that we've got it all covered and all around the sides of the edge as well, because it wouldn't make sense to have colour on the edge and then not on there, you get some chipping either side of a corner. It's time to spray it in the next colour of paint. So I will magically reappear with it sprayed a different colour. And ta-da! It's green now, which you might not be able to see too well because my cutting mat is also green. But it's green and we've got some kind of white patches where the toothpaste is, and of course our big lump there. Now very importantly, if you want to do any accent colours, you also need to do them before removing the toothpaste. This way any damage will continue over both the colours. So I'll put a nice little accent stripe over here. One problem again with having large lumps like this is that if we try to mask over that, that's squishy and sticky and it's not going to go well. So I'll get close to that but won't actually go near it. So I'm just going to add a nice band of colour so we can see how it will continue. As a trick, if you're sponging on paint, use a dry bit of the sponge, just kind of blot it nicely and get rid of all those lumps. We'll leave that for a few minutes, and then we'll do the grand reveal and cleaning off the toothpaste. Now that all the paint is dried, to get the toothpaste masking fluid off, you can use a damp cloth and just rub at it. It's particularly good for large areas, or you can use a blunt tool, for example the back of a de-picker, or the sticky bit off a biro lid, whatever, and just scrape at it. You don't want anything too sharp because you don't want to actually damage the silver coat underneath, but you can just scrape that off. Luckily you should be able to tell everywhere where the masking fluid is because it will feel a bit different, so if you're not sure you can feel it. And there we go. As you can see, keeping it masked while we did the other paint has meant that it can continue scraping off on both, as if the damage was done after. The larger blob has given us a very round, kind of smooth look there, which I'm not a great fan of. You might want it for a bullet dent or similar, but I prefer the jagged look that we got from applying the toothbrush by brush earlier. The toothbrush? The toothpaste. Apply the toothpaste with a brush, but not necessarily a toothbrush. There we go. Now to finish this off with some dirt effect, we're going to do a dark wash over the top. I've got some black acrylic paint, squirt a little bit in there. I've also got a tiny amount of washing up liquid in there. Now that is to break up the surface tension of the water, make it less likely to want to kind of cling, and mean that it will flow into any areas of damage. So we're going to mix that all up with a little bit of water. Now one thing you might want to do here is just do some light scraping at the paintwork, because this should, being thin, it should stick in any small grooves you've got. So if you do any scratches, it should stay in there. Now using a brush or a sponge or whatever you prefer, you can literally just wash this on. You can leave it like that if you want it to just look dirty all round. If you're feeling there's too much, you can dab some off and you'll see that it's stuck in the deeper grooves a bit more. And I always prefer to make my blackwash a bit thin and then go over it multiple times, multiple coats, letting them all dry in between. So I prefer not to overdo it. And then if you're still feeling it's a bit lacking, you can always do your dry brushing on top of it, but this is really good for getting large areas done at once. It's also really messy though. But there we have it. So that is another technique for weathering. This one does require a bit more forethought because you've got to do bits in the right order rather than putting the weathering on the top. But I really like the effect it gives. I especially really like the kind of paint peel effect because I just think it looks a bit more natural than trying to dry brush that on afterwards. Hope this tutorial is helpful to anyone. As ever, please do check out my Facebook page and my Patreon account if you want to see these videos early, see some behind the scenes stuff, see me mess up, etc. Please do consider supporting me, and let me know if there's any other tutorials you'd like to see. Thanks for watching. Bye!